Hello Cricketeers, bringing you another tutorial today on Print and Cut. This is going to be a basic tutorial showing you how to set up your design so that it only cuts what you really want it to cut. So it doesn't cut out the text, so it doesn't cut out the image within your design. We're going to do an invitation, just a flat card invitation, a folded note card, and a tag, just to kind of show you some different options, some different ways to set up your images, different ways that you can use Print and Cut. So we'll start with the card invitation. So we're just going to insert a basic shape for our card. I'm going to click off the lock so I can change the size to a 5x7. Today I would like this to be just kind of a cream color, just an off-white. So I'm going to change it to that. We're going to insert our images. This is going to be a party invitation, so I've just typed in party. Let's choose some party hats. So this one here, as you can see, has a little printer beside it. So this one is already a printable image. So this is an image that was probably created back when the Imagine machines were out. So that's perfectly fine. We can use one of those. And let's also choose just a regular party hat, kind of like this one. Or actually, let's go with this one instead. So, I mean, the process is the same, but I'll just show you the difference. I'll just show you how you can use both of them, basically. So I'm going to insert both over here. Let's just make them a little smaller. So we'll just put these down here for decoration at the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to leave them like that for now. Let's add our text. So you're invited. I currently have this on the Birthday Bash font, so that's fine. I kind of like how that looks. So I'm just going to resize it. As you can see over here, the shadow layer is turned off. I think that would be kind of actually nice to use it. So I'm going to turn it on with the eyeball, and let's change the colors. So as you can see, right here are the colors that were used in this party hat. So let's choose one of those colors so everything matches. Kind of like that in black, so we're going to leave it. So you're invited. Let's add to a party. Underneath. So again, let's choose, we'll just use this color and turn this on. So again, notice I'm just leaving them on cut. I'm not changing them to print. I'm not changing them to anything. I'm just leaving them as is. It's important to note that you can't use a writing style font for this. So I see you're invited to a party. So let's just say at this place, at this time, please RSVP. So if I had these set to write, I would not be able to flatten these for Print and Cut. So you can't use a writing style font. So you have to really kind of pay attention to that when you're choosing a font. You'll see some of them, like this one here, Bicycle for Two, is only a writing style font. So if I chose this, I mean, it looks nice, but I wouldn't be able to use it. It wouldn't allow me to flatten the image. Like if I have them both selected here. Oops, let's select them both. And you can see the flatten doesn't even come up. So you have to make sure that your text is set to a regular cutting font. So we're just going to go back to regular. I'm going to align this so that the text is centered. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Oops. And let's change this, let's go pink for this. And turn that on as well. Okay, so, I mean, normally I would kind of do a better job of this, but it's just to show how this works. So once you have all of your images and your text on your shape, all you have to do is drag a box around them all. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just select all of your pieces. So you can click on them holding down the Shift key and click on all the pieces and they will select. You can double check over here that they're all selected. As you can see here, this one isn't highlighted, so I missed this one. So I'm just going to keep the Shift key and I'm going to click on it there. You can also just select them all here as well. So just click on all of these pieces and now they are all selected. And that one as well. So now that everything is selected, all I have to do is click flatten. That's it. You know, we often see people that are trying to change each layer of text to print. They're leaving their card set to cut and then they're attaching their text and pictures to the cut. That's not how it works. You used to be able to get away with it in the old Design Space. You can't anymore. All of the layers are kept separate when you attach them. So it's not flattening everything into one image like what you see here. So this is what we're going for. You know you have it right when you've got one image here. And you can, I mean, it's a little bit small, but you can see that, you know, the party hats are here, the text is all here. So I know I have it right. So I can just go to make it. And you'll see now everything shows up. And when, after I print this, put it on my mat, it's going to just cut the outside. It's not going to cut out my text. It's not going to cut out my party hats, just the card, which is exactly what we want, right? So that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that, really. So let's put this to the side. And now we'll do a folded card. So again, I'm going to add a shape. I'm just going to add a square. Click the lock and change this to 5.5 by 8. So this is just the size of a small note card. Again, we'll change it to a color, so we'll go, maybe we'll just go a really light gray this time. Oops. I'm going to insert a score line. So move this over here. I'm just going to turn this off just so it's not in our way. So here's my score line. So if I hold down the Shift key and rotate it, it jumps ahead to kind of even angles. So that's an easy way to get it to rotate to 90, or you could just type it in here as well. I need this to be 5.5 inches wide. I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to select my score line and my card. And I'm going to go to align and center. So now it's perfectly centered in the middle of my card. So I know it's going to be in the right place. So it's there. So for now, I'm just going to turn it off. We'll use it again later. So for this note card, I would like to cut the shape of a, let's go with a star in the front of my card. So this again is going to be a print and cut. So just kind of place it there and we can center it again. So this would be, I can never remember which one is which, center vertically. Oh, no, see, had it wrong. So center, oops, line, center horizontally. So now my star is right in the middle between my the width of the card. So I'm going to select my star and my card and slice. So I'm just going to pull out the pieces. So now you can see there's grid through my card, So that now means that when I print this, it's going to print, or it's going to cut the outline, and it's also going to cut my star out. So that's always a giveaway when you're doing print and cut. If you can see grid, that's where it's going to cut. Okay, so let's get rid of these. Let's add some text. So let's just say your star. Let's change this to a different font. So just change it to this one. Make it a little smaller, and let's move our letters a little closer together. So letter spacing. Okay, that's better. So we're just going to plunk that here. So again, it's set to cut. My card is set to cut. I'm going to select both. Keep in mind you do not want to have that score line selected, so that's why we have it turned off for now. So I just have those two pieces selected and flatten. Now we'll turn this back on. It'll show up behind the card now, so we just have to go over here to arrange and move to front. So we'll select it and select the card and attach. So now we're good. So again, this is going to print. It's going to cut out this shape, and it's going to cut out my star. My text will be printed on the front. So we can go check that. So there you go. Simple as that. If we wanted to add maybe another star, let's go images, and let's pick a pretty star. Let's see. This one's free. Let's choose this one. So say I wanted to put these on the front of the card, but I wanted them to stick them on like with a pop dot, so they're dimensional on top of the card, but I'm still wanting to print them. So let's duplicate them. So we'll have two of them. Maybe make this one a little smaller. So there. So I can just flatten the star. So I've selected it and I'm flattening it. And I'll select this one and I'll flatten it. So they're not attached to the card. They're separate images. It doesn't matter, you can stick them here when it's time to make them, or you can leave them here to see what they look like on your design. And actually let's duplicate it again to do an even smaller one. Maybe actually this one will go on the inside of the card and we'll be able to kind of see it through the hole. Make it a little bigger. Something like that. Yeah, so all of these are separate now, or they're all flattened and they're all three separate images. And then we have our card. So again, we go to make it. In this case, it's going to do it on two separate mats because it's just more space than what you can do for print and cut. So here they are in the second mat. So those three stars will cut out, and this will cut out, and then when you assemble it, you can stick the three stars on your card with pop dots or whatever you'd like to give it some dimension. So any image in the Cricut library can be flattened like this. Sky's the limit. Anything you find in here you can use as a as a printable image. Something like this, or text. Rather than cutting them in layers and assembling them, you can just flatten them. And it'll just cut out around the outside of your images. So flatten. So again, like I was saying with the grid, so it'll cut the inside and around all of these pieces. Okay, so my last example, let's move these out of the way. Let's do a tag for this one. So I'll just do something simple. This will be fine. Okay, so for this tag, what I would like to do is, rather than cut it out of a pattern paper, I want to print this with a pattern. So what I'm going to do for this, this has 2 layers, so let's ungroup and let's get rid of this, we don't need that. So for this one, we're going to change it to print right off the bat. And when you turn it to a print, you'll see that you'll have the option of colors and patterns. So let's click on patterns. And now all of these patterns will show up. Your list will be different than mine. I have a bunch that I have uploaded. So that's what you're seeing, some pretty Melody Lane digital papers, just pictures that I found online, picture of my daughter, more patterns. So let's choose, let's see, let's find, this one's kind of pretty. So let's just choose that. This process takes a little bit longer. So there we go. So now my shape has been filled out with this. So it's, you know, instead of cutting out of a pattern paper that you might have, like a scrapbooking paper, this will just print out that piece. So you kind of waste, you waste a little bit less. So we have that. Let's just add, I don't know, we'll say it's Merry Christmas. We'll choose a different font again. Can choose anything really. Yeah, we'll just go with this one. That's kind of cute. Got to center it again. Oops. Center it. Let's choose a different color. What would look nice? Maybe a dark brown. And actually, what we can also do, let's duplicate this, and we're going to change the duplicate to white. I kind of think this looks neat. It adds a little bit of dimension. It kind of makes your letters pop a little bit, so I'm just going to place it like that. And then I'm going to select all again and flatten. And there we go. I've got one image over here. So it'll print, and then it'll just cut around my tag. So yeah, that's kind of all I can think of. I think that pretty well covers everything that you need to know for print and cut. If you have any questions, I'm going to have this posted in the Cricut Design Space Facebook group. Feel free to ask me any questions there, and I can clarify if I've confused you with anything or something doesn't quite make sense to you. Just let me know. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful, and hopefully it clears up some of your questions, and now you can have fun with this really great tool in Design Space. Thanks a lot.